IVM.
Hey, so what do you think Jishnu, Dinkar and I have in common? Well, it's all that we are solid underachievers. But if you like the opposite, which is that of a superachiever, then you should definitely check out the Vishal Gondal Show, where Vishal, the host who I just named and is also in the title of the show, The Vishal Gondal Show, interviews superachievers like Ronnie Screwwala, a great superachiever, Amish Tripathi, another great superachiever. So, if you're an achiever and would like to become a superachiever, then you should probably check out The Vishal Gondal Show. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Food Podcast. Today it's me, Tejas, and Dinkar. Hi Dinkar.
Sup yo, how's it going?
We have energy today.
We have so much energy today.
Why?
Because I have never felt this enthused after finishing a show.
And especially a Marvel Netflix show?
But Marvel Netflix show. Marvel Netflix shows typically exhaust you by the back half of the season.
Yeah.
But the mysterious show we're talking about today has changed my life.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. So just to let everybody know, we're talking Luke Cage today. Season 2. Marvel, Netflix, ABC's Luke Cage.
Is ABC involved?
I mean, ABC shoots all of it, don't they?
Oh, do they?
Isn't that like if you stay till past the credits, because they keep saying play next one, play next one.
I play next.
They're such enablers, man. That's what Netflix is. But yeah, if you stay past it, it's the credit slates are there and it says ABC Studios.
I read an article that said Netflix doesn't like the term binge watching. And we're like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
Sure, like drug addicts don't like the term drug addicts.
We, the drug addict lobbyists, are just like asking for people to not say that they're addicts.
Oh, well, they're the drug peddlers. Drug peddlers don't like the term drug dealers?
No. It's, Netflix is the drug peddler.
Yes.
But they're enablers.
They're not a businessman, they're a businessman.
Okay, cool.
Jay-Z. I'm doing this every episode now. Our loyal listeners know when I drop legendary hip-hop lines.
Okay, cool. And if they don't know, they know. Okay, so before we get into the episode, we have an email, which I don't know if you guys read out, from Akshat Pandey. Did you?
I don't know. What does it refer to?
He says, hey guys, the return of the
Nerdtorium.
Nerdtorium.
It's the hey guys one, no?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me.
Did you read this? No. You
No.
didn't. He says, hey guys, the return of the Nerdtorium has been very delightful. It's wonderful to see that Geek Fruit now has 3 shows. The previous few episodes have been great. Please do an episode on your favorite R-rated superhero films, as there are so many of them now. Cheers.
R-rated
cheers.
superhero films. So
Yeah.
many?
There are about 4. Deadpool 1, 2,
Okay.
which I just recently saw Deadpool 2.
Cool. That's about it.
Logan.
And
the New Mutants, which will come out soon.
yeah, and there have been R-rated superhero
What
movies in
else?
the past.
What else
Right?
has been there?
Blade,
Blade
was
so
R-rated.
Blade. Yeah, so I think there's enough candidates for us to do a top 2.
Perhaps we should do an R-rated episode on R-rated stuff. Thank you, Akshat, for your email. Like
Yes.
you said, we have 3 shows now.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
very podcast that you're listening to, The Bulletin,
Yes.
and The Nerdtorium.
Man, the Nerdtorium is going well.
It's
in
going
the sense
well.
that it's going.
Check out The Nerdtorium on Facebook and YouTube, because
Yes.
if you don't know, then now you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Friends.
So the Nerdtorium is another discussion show, and you can see our faces in that and stuff. So yeah, so that's
Excited.
nice. Excited.
All
Cool.
right.
So that we're done with Akshat's email.
Yeah.
Let us move swiftly forward to Luke Cage. Previously on Luke Cage, what happened in the first season, man? Also, why are we talking about this show? It's been a few since it came out.
So,
When did it come out?
a couple of months ago, easily.
Okay, so then that's not bad, right?
We're in Iron Fist season now, in fact.
September is Iron Fist.
September the 7th. Mark your calendars.
Oh my god,
And
wow.
then wait a couple of days and then watch it.
Yes.
I'm just saying, let's see what people are saying before we dive in. Which I did not do with Luke Cage.
Yeah, even I didn't
Season
do it.
2, I dived in. Season 1 was okay. We have mixed thoughts on it. Me and Jishnu did an episode on it a while ago. But
Yeah.
basically, I felt like it started really, really strong.
Yeah.
And then fell apart towards the end. Because it just started becoming really cheesy and kind of ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah. I still really liked it. Like, it's weird. I know all the criticisms for the villains. So let's just, to just recap season 1 quite briefly. It's about, we get introduced to the character in media res. Obviously, he had his introduction through a backdoor kind of thing in Jessica Jones, where he's controlled by Kilgrave and blah, blah, blah. But you realize that he's just this guy from Harlem. He's just been released from Seagate prison because he was wrongly convicted. And the love of his life is dead now. And he's just trying to put his life
Killed
together.
by his girlfriend.
Killed by his... Well, killed by his wife in the comics.
Yes, true.
As in
but I'm
Jessica
on the show.
Jones.
Yeah.
Do people know that? Okay, good. Anyway, he's just trying to put his life back together, but he realizes that with great power comes great responsibility. And, when an inciting incident in the fact that his mentor, Pops, his barbershop gets, shot up.
He's popped off.
Yeah, exactly. He goes to exact vengeance and try and bring Harlem in order.
Yeah.
Something that he does excellently in season 2. But in season 1, I think the biggest criticism was the fact that they had a great villain in Cottonmouth who was played by Mahershala Ali.
Oscar winner Mahershala Ali,
Exactly.
and you kill him off 6 episodes in.
Oscar winner and True Detective season 3 lead star Mahershala Ali. Yes.
Yeah.
So
looking interesting.
did
He's
you
also
watch
in
season
that
2?
Farrelly Brothers movie with him what's his name?
Oh. Sorry, no, I'm confusing that with the Noah Baumbach.
He's in a movie that's about to come out. Oh yeah. He's in the trailer for which I saw the other day, where he plays a legendary pianist in traveling through the South during the race wars.
Okay. Put Mahershala Ali in anything, I'll watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was freaking Cottonmouth, and
Cottonmouth.
you stuffed cotton in his mouth.
So
because he wanted to go with shades.
You did
it, Tejas.
Not me. Okay,
Oh, shit,
Chio
sorry.
Hodari Koko.
Yeah.
Okay, the creator of the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about him later on. But like he decided, obviously after all the criticism, he kind of spoke out and he said, "I read a lot of the reviews, and a lot of those reviews have shaped season 2."
Yes.
Because he takes criticism really seriously.
This
and
is
he
very
responds.
interesting to me.
It's new.
See,
It's
okay,
fresh.
let me just take you through the arc of season 1 from a quality perspective and from my perspective. Season 1...
which are one and the same, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
You know me, the D stands for quality.
Yes. Okay.
We don't make mistakes. So...
It's sounding like Mariah.
we don't make mistakes. Okay. Mistakes. Ta-da.
Oh,
Okay.
It's Dillard, bitch. Sorry.
This episode's going to need a lot of censoring.
Yeah, I know.
So season 1 starts out brilliantly. An amazing atmosphere, amazing acting.
Yeah.
This feel that they create of the bar, of
All
Harlem.
about Harlem's Paradise, bro.
Harlem's Paradise. Harlem comes alive, dude.
Man,
you know
it
how they
really
say
does.
New York City is a character? In
Yes.
this, Harlem is a character.
Yes.
Which is within New York City.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
That means New York City is a megazord. Sorry, go
And
on.
and an amazing villain in Mahershala Ali in Cottonmouth, because he had like nuance and he had like a lot of
He just had like some actors can just provide depth even without like doing much with the dialogue.
which is what I felt Mahershala Ali did. Now when he
Yes.
died,
Yeah.
shocking moment.
But he was killed by, and this is obviously spoilers for season 1, blah, blah. We're going to spoil season 2 as well later on in the episode. But
Probably.
So he's killed by Mariah Dillard, who's basically her cousin. And now, obviously, to understand the entire structure of Luke Cage, is to understand this crime family. It's almost more about this family than it is about Luke Cage. And that's the truth.
That's true.
So she kills him because, she wants to she lets out the inner gangster in her. And it comes out in this fit of rage, and he gets smashed in by a mic stand, which is repeatedly, hit over his head and emphasized as well. Yes. So he's killed by, and then the story kind of progresses, and
after that moment is where I felt it started falling apart, because there was a sudden shift in direction, and
There was a shift in power.
Yes, and the tone of the show changed. It took like this sharp U-turn and started becoming like a little more over the top, a little more cartoony.
Yeah.
And when they introduced Diamondback, the second major villain.
Yeah.
Willis.
Who's basically his half brother.
My favorite moment.
He says, "What you talking about, Willis?"
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
But my favorite moment is when he's introduced and he just starts shooting at Luke Cage randomly.
Yeah. The Judas bullet.
They have this confrontation, and towards the end, if I remember correctly, like Willis falls into like a garbage truck or something, and as he's driving off. In the back of a garbage truck, he just shouts like, "I am your brother, Luke," and Luke's just like, "What?" His face is exactly the audience's face, just going like,
I love it.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's like he suddenly got clobbered in the head with a piano, and he's like, who am I? Who was my brother?
But tell me one thing, though, and the season kind of progresses. It's all about Diamondback, who's the villain.
Half-brother.
And half-brother. But there's also, there's a shade of... oh, God.
There's a shade of shades.
There's Shades and Mariah who are kind of working behind the scenes with this power struggle.
Yeah.
And finally, Diamondback comes out in this big, kind of get-up, which everybody hated, right? Like his villainous suit, his jumpsuit or whatever.
But that, I got where they were coming from. But again, it felt kind of over the top and ridiculous in a way that the show hadn't prepared you for.
No, but he says, I mean, I think they acknowledge it when Turk, I think his name is Turk, okay, where he says like...
The guy who shoots all the episodes on the... The guy who shoots the fights.
No, that's DW.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, this is the other guy, the old guy.
Oh, right,
Who's a nice old guy, right? I can't remember his name.
Part 2.
Yeah, Pops Part 2. And he says... He's like, Diamondback, that's you, man. You look like a cracker stormtrooper or something like that. Yeah. Man, it was just, or stormtrooper on crack, whatever it is. But it was so funny. And I think they knew that it looked ridiculous, but they just went with it. And it's something that they have really kind of taken to heart.
And this is why I love season 2.
Yes. All right, cool. So I'll tell you what. Let's take a short break.
Okay,
we're going to come back and just dive straight into season 2, spoilers and all.
So this week on IVM, there's a lot to look forward to for our listeners. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We have an interview lined up with the young actor Ishan Khattar on Cyrus Says. This conversation is about his foray into acting and living up to high expectations. On Simplified is the 100th episode, which we recorded live at Dulali, featuring guests Amit Verma and Varun Dugirala. And for all of those looking to step into the food and hospitality business, the podcast that should definitely make your priority list is the Kolaba Cocktail. This week, there's an important conversation taking place between Gauri, Pankil, Abhishek, and myself about restaurant investments, who the ideal investor for a restaurant would be, and more. Also catch Paisa Vaisa, where Anupam talks to Prashant Thakur of Anurag Property Consultants about real estate basics like buying, renting, and selling property. On the Vishal Gondal Show, Vishal speaks to Yashraj Akashi, someone responsible for curating the TEDx conference in India. On the Pragati podcast, Pawan and Hamsani are joined by strategic communications expert Soren Dayton to discuss how the ecosystem of Washington, D.C. has changed since Donald Trump became the president. On Pulyabazi, Pranay and Saurabh discuss Pakistan's tryst with the military jihadi complex. We're also looking to hire a producer, a social media intern, and a graphic designer. So write to us at jobs@indusvox.com if you want to come work with us. And with that, let's continue with your show.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're talking about Luke Cage Season 2. What'd you think, man?
Dude.
How do we do this? How do we dive into this show, which is so excellent?
So let's address a question we brought up in the first segment, which is, why are we talking about this now? So it's, just completed watching it.
I just finished it, that's why.
Yeah.
That's the immediate reason.
I powered through it because I watched the first couple. I literally just started watching it thinking, alright, let's see what Luke Cage is up to.
Yeah.
After the first 2 episodes, I was like, this is amazing. Because they totally lean into this over-the-top, cartoony, like fun, ridiculous
it's kind of bizarre, it's like it's really bizarre.
Sometimes I just watch the show going like, is this happening? What?
Man, but it's a very fine line, like, yes, there are those moments where I'm feeling like, man, this show is crazy and this is so silly and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's so much depth and so much like heart to it, like or whatever. And I'm just like, man, I don't know if this show is trying to be intentionally this way or not. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Are they intentionally like, okay, so it reminds me a lot of comics.
Yeah, it's a
like
lot like the
actual comic books, because no, not the comics.
Okay.
Just comic books in general. You know how they can be ridiculous, sometimes make no sense, really convoluted, like things happen purely for plot reasons, and like there's abrupt endings. It's almost soap opera-ish. Comic books can be ridiculous,
fair enough,
but they're also awesome, and they've got a lot of feel and heart, and they can have a lot of depth.
Right.
And this felt like that.
Yeah, man, it was just like such a mixed bag of emotions. Let's talk about what this entire season is about.
Okay.
So it begins with, again, he's now Harlem's hero. Everybody knows that he's got these powers. So it's kind of like in the open now that he's like Luke Cage and everybody loves Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And in fact, they've gone so meta that he's being merchandised almost, like by his friend DW, who kind of follows his every move. And there's an app called Harlem's
Hero app.
The Harlem's Hero app, where people can follow his exploits and things like that. So people are aware of he's getting like, merchandising deals, like from Nike and stuff like that, trying to sign him and things like that. And all the while he's trying to actually put, all these gangs out of, order so that he can maintain some balance in Harlem. So that's what kind of starts. And so that's one. It
also starts with, the other threads that are introduced are the introduction of his father.
Reggie Cathy, yeah.
Reggie Cathy.
Was he there in the last season? I can't remember.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't, right?
Yeah, he just kind of pops up. And again, a super random introduction where they talk for like 10 minutes and then Luke Cage goes like, all right, Dad.
Dad, yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening here?
Well, it was kind of obvious. Also, does it happen just while he's walking on the road, if I'm not mistaken?
They literally bump into each other on the street.
Yeah, because from what I understood is that I was like, why didn't this happen in the first season? And it's because he's moved from somewhere else, right?
Yes.
He's moved from like South Carolina, somewhere.
From where they were
church,
raised.
Yeah, basically where they were. And so he's come to New York to kind of make amends, kind of, I suppose. But so that's what he's up to. That's one kind of thing. The second and most important like thread of the season is this weird. Actually, it's bizarre how it's basically a deal that Mariah Stokes or Mariah Dillard, whatever, she's trying to make a deal with some kind of insider trading guy whose name is Piranha.
Yeah.
And, if she makes this deal and she gets, all her money into this thing and it's invested, she'll make like some $350 million or something, right?
And basically she wants to get clean.
Yeah, she wants to get clean. So she sells off her gun business, which is what the Stokes were known for, like Mama Mabel, etc. They were all known for that. And they sell it to the Jamaicans, who are known originally as the Yardis, but now as the Stylers.
We the Stylers.
Okay, cool. Here's the other reason. There's one simple reason why this season is so awesome, and it's one word: Bushmaster, man. Bushmaster is
they call me Bushmaster.
Yeah, them call me Bushmaster.
Them call me. This episode
Man,
is not. I don't know. Are we being racist?
No, I mean, like, dude, the accent, and you know what? It's a stroke of genius, if you ask me, to include like the Jamaican culture and the history and everything into the show.
Because I love how Luke Cage always manages to do that. It incorporates the culture so well. This felt like
you know why?
Jamaican settled in New York.
I feel it's that way. It's because Chio Hadari Coker was like, he's a writer actually, and he's like a music journalist. That's what he started off as, and he's written the biography of like Biggie Smalls. So
really?
Yeah, so that's why B.I.G. is like such a huge presence in the show. The entire show revolves around this painting, literally. You know, like and the Basquiat, which is bizarre.
Two major paintings.
Yeah, so it's pretty bizarre. Anyway, so coming back to this deal. So if they make a lot of this, she wants to go clean and she wants to kind of give back to Harlem and she wants to kind of escape her roots, which is like, of her entire family being like this crime family, which kind of brought Harlem together, but also did it the wrong way. Meanwhile, Bushmaster is this guy who's trying to take revenge on Mariah, and it's because his whole family was wronged and killed almost by the Stokes family. So he's kind of got vengeance against her, and Luke Cage is in the middle of all of it. So that's like and Rosario Dawson is there for like 3 episodes and then she bounces because he cannot get his rage in order.
I found that ridiculous. So running theme is that Luke Cage is really angry at his father, and he takes that anger out everywhere, which is a very interesting theme to talk about because their past is really convoluted.
Correct.
What I don't get is how everyone just brings it up with him as if it's out there. Like, he just walks somewhere and he meets someone on the street and they're like, "Why are you so angry, Luke? You have to talk to your father." And the guy's like, "Ma'am, I just want to pay for my groceries and leave."
Man, my favorite when Claire, talks about it, makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yes, when Claire talks about it, makes sense.
But like when there's one episode where he becomes, the hero for hire, which is what he's known for in the comics, right? Where he gets paid to kind of help out some people, but he rarely accepts the payments in the comics. Anyway, besides the point, he does this hero for hire for this guy whose name is Piranha, right?
Yes.
Who's the guy who's brokering this deal, and the Yardis are after him, the Stylers are after him, whatever. And in that, there's a conversation with him while he's protecting him, and he's just like, "What about your father? Hey man, I sense you have some trouble with your father." And
what's going on?
And he's just like, "Dude, don't even." And they still have that conversation. It's like everyone's on his ass. But so basically, this entire season progresses. Man, if you can broadly divide the season into like say 2 or 3 parts, the first half is about the setup for Bushmaster, and the second half is about how everybody realized. It's like there's a collective realization from Bushmaster to Luke Cage to everybody that Mariah's the real
evil,
the real villain in this show.
An arc that has been built up since season 1 and once again sneaks up on you, where they introduce Bushmaster as this insanely powerful villain.
Right.
But again, by the second half of the season, they bring Mariah Dillard to the fore.
Man, okay, let me put it this way. Mariah Dillard is the best villain in the Netflix universe.
She should be the Oscar winner.
Man, really, dude. She is fantastically over the top and dramatic.
So over the top.
But it's so perfect. Like, I can see it. Like, she plays it so realistically that you can't help but believe that somebody is like this, in real life. She's very much, and Chio Hadari Coker has kind of like cited, like, obviously they want this Batman Joker kind of villain where they need each other, where they've created each other, those two anomalies. But steeped in like black culture, and it's nuts how they've managed to kind of create these things. And what I really loved about the season, that every single character, like by the end, or by that like 10th or 11th episode, you know everything about them. Their characters are so deep. Like, literally about how they got their name, what they did, what their flaws are, why they're assholes, but why you can sympathize with them. Like, characters like Comanche and like Shades.
Comanche and Shades.
Man, dude,
that was
I loved it.
Came out of
dude.
nowhere, but also, whoa, interesting. Yeah.
Also, so Shades had he's like bi, I guess. And
I guess.
he had a relationship with Comanche, and the fact
who is
that
his right-hand man, who is also backstabbing the entire gang by snitching.
He's a snitch, yeah. Man, and also Misty's arc. Dude, Misty is also like amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, what do I even say about this show?
Really interesting.
How do we progress?
How do we start? Let's go through the best.
That's a good idea.
The highlights.
Really, I want to start by talking about Shades. I think Shades is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I did not even think that he was much of a character in the first season, but by the end of the second season, I really kind of...
He was not. In fact, in the first season, a lot of his role, I felt was weird because he seemed important, but he never did anything of importance.
I mean...
That changed in this season.
Yeah, no, and the other thing is that, they keep bringing up this girl, Candace, from the first season, right? Who was killed by Shades. She was like an informant, but she gets,
Informant?
Yeah. My name is something. Actually, anyway, let's not. It's
white Canadian Jamaican.
Yeah. What's his name?
Snow.
Snow, of course. My God. Anyway, so Shades kind of is a villain, and he's done like bad things, but like by the time he comes to like remember I sent you that one scene on WhatsApp? Man, it's a single take, okay?
I got no money.
He's like, I got no
home.
Luke Cage, the cops, everybody's up my ass. That's Mariah.
And
just like,
I love how Shades is just like this. He's like a master shifu for wannabe gangsters. Where he just goes like, he talks to Mariah and he's like, "You're a gangster now."
Yeah,
that's not how gangsters act.
This ain't how gangsters do.
This ain't how gangsters do.
No, and the other thing is like, there's a code, like there's a gangster stuff, which I kind of found pretty cool. Like, I like that Mariah's kind of like this person, this novice in this, but she's got all the power, and so she's just dictating what she wants. And
she's a rookie who came in and had like amazing talent, and she just started breaking all the rules.
Man.
And Shades is like, this is not how gangsters do.
This ain't how
gangsters do, which makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
And they never do it he doesn't suddenly become an honorable crook. He's still a crook.
Yeah.
Just one with a code.
And
Stringer Bell style.
Something that, really kind of gets to me is that one scene where, in the end, okay, and this is a spoiler obviously, but he has to kill Comanche because he catches him snitching to the, the Ridna, or the main cop, right? The commander or whatever. The captain of police, right? And, after that, he goes to Misty and he says, "I'm going to come clean. I'm going to tell you everything, but I want like this thing."
Yeah.
And he goes and he tells the entire story of everything, and, Comanche's mother is outside and she comes into the room because he lied to her saying that Comanche was killed by somebody else, and because they're best friends, and she just like spits on him and leaves. And man, I was like, that's some real shit, man.
Yeah, and he doesn't even talk about it regretfully. Like he doesn't suddenly redeem himself. He talks about it like an asshole.
Yeah.
Even his lawyer just gets up and goes like, "I can't represent this guy. I'm out."
Insane. Man,
so
I think
Shades was a great character.
Shades is like is a perfect example of how the characters can be so like super deep, and you can they're so grey, like really that you would need Shades. Anyway, but moving on. Other character that I think is a standout character in this season is Bushmaster, man.
Bushmaster was an amazing arc.
Yeah. The whole Bushmaster crew.
That actor is so good.
Mustafa Shakir.
Remember
I sent you that clip
of him
and I was
like,
this clip is gonna break your brain.
I know.
Really, because it's an interview, and I swear I thought he was gonna speak like Bushmaster, and then he's just like a normal New York Brooklyn accent. And it just blew my mind.
It's like when Christian Bale did interviews in an American accent, just so people wouldn't freak out.
I know, man. Like, it's something that just, like, it just proves, I think this guy is like a legit actor. Like, it's not not just, he's like a thespian who's done like everything. He's like groomed himself. His body is like in shape, like, and he can put on accents and do anything. And man, he brought some real like weight to the role, man. Like I thought Bushmaster would be like a throwaway cartoony villain because he could do like capoeira and like bullets would not harm him and all that jazz. So I thought he was going to be
drinking Nightshade.
Nightshade,
which is also killing him. Amazing.
But Nightshade is a character from the comics, which is what's her name? Tilda. Yeah,
she becomes Nightshade.
She becomes Nightshade.
Yeah.
But
we'll get to her.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I have some thoughts.
I have some thoughts. But so he keeps taking this Nightshade, whatever. And I always thought he was going to be like a person strong enough for Luke Cage to fight. Because the problem is when your main character is so powerful, you need to have like an adversary who can match him. And so I thought that was the only reason why he was there. But there was like a ton of like depth, man, to that character. Like Johnny McIver, that's his name. His whole family taken down by the Stokes.
But them call me Bushmaster.
Yeah, and man, the other really awesome thing is how they roped the whole Bushmaster vodka into the thing. I thought it was like neat because I don't ever remember seeing that in a comic book.
At the end of the day, it's such a weird but very realistic origin story.
Yeah,
there was a contract dispute between the two families, and the Dillards doing. The Stokes doing how the Stokes do, just went and murdered the entire family.
Man, crazy.
When Bushmaster was just a pick-me.
Damn pick-me. But yeah, he was just a pick-me, and he gets
me no harm, damn pick-me.
But the real heart of that story is in his buddy, man. What's his name? I can't remember.
The uncle.
The uncle.
Oh
man, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, even I can't remember his name.
So that
uncle drops some of the like craziest lines. Again,
it's like, if you want to get vengeance, you better dig 2 graves.
And then Bushmaster says, "Them not enough holes for me."
No, I think Mariah says that.
Oh, Mariah says that.
That ain't enough holes for me. Man, there's some damn good lines in this show.
Exactly.
Huh?
So this is what I find nuts about the show. Humans don't talk like this. Comic book characters do.
Yeah.
This is literally a comic book come to life. Over the top, ridiculous, all over the place, and I love it.
Yeah, dude, I don't understand like how they can have such inconsistent like arcs where it's just like suddenly it's so random. They're fighting on top of a bridge. It's a comic book, right? And then he falls and basically I don't know how that fight even happened. Like he just says yes. Why does Luke Cage just put himself in these situations? I
don't know. Because it's Harlem a comic
is
books.
Literally the size of Versova. Like that's it. That's all they're fighting for. Versova. It's fine. I don't know. Man,
I did Jishnu and I talked about this on our third show, the Nerdatorium, where and Jishnu hadn't seen it at this point, so I was trying to explain the joy of Luke Cage season 2 to him, and at one point he asked me, "I don't understand whether you hate the show or love it," and I was like, "Jishnu, I don't know." I mean, I love it. I don't know if I'm being ironic or not.
That's true. You don't know if you're being ironic, but I mean, by the end of the season, I thought about it and I thought about all the... There are 2 reasons why I think it is intentionally done and why I do love this show.
Yeah.
One is, I do think that they did an excellent job in, deepening the characters, all the subtext. I mean, it's about as preachy as the first season. There's so many things. There's immigration they're talking about. There's black culture and black excellence they talk about as a big deal. About how balance of power. There's like lots of themes, They even drop ice in as a reference.
Again, amazing. Very comic book like, where you bring up these huge themes, but also you're doing the most ridiculous things.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, so
comic books have the balls to talk about anything.
Literally, and they get away with it because it's comics,
Yeah.
And so I thought that because the characters were so layered, like Mariah, Shades, Bushmaster, Luke Cage himself, Mike Coulter is amazing. I think he's brilliant. Like it's a very tough character to play because you literally have to kind of be the straight man and like let everybody kind of bounce off of you, literally, like in that sense. And he does an excellent job.
Like them so many bullets.
Iron Fist is there in this show and he's good, and that episode is amazing. I loved that episode. It was so good. The fight sequence was excellent. It makes me think that they don't need another season. They just need to heroes fire.
Again, with Iron Fist, they're literally in the middle of walking around all of New York City investigating stuff, and Iron Fist suddenly goes like, "Luke, why are you so angry?" And Luke's just like, "Dude, we're having hot dogs. Come on."
Yeah, and I like that, even that little conversation at the end of the episode where he's just like, I gotta be honest, Claire sent me. And he's just like, "Man, was that really a dragon you fought?" He's just like, "I don't get you. You're bulletproof, right?" He's like, "You can believe that, but you can't believe a dragon." That's just like, amazing. Cool.
Oh my god, this show.
Basically, Chio Hodari Koko should write Iron Fist, but anyway.
Yes.
So when I think about the characters, I think that those have been really well done. And then by the last episode, the arc that it takes, I just thought that it's not a fluke by any means. It's not fluke cage.
Yeah.
Got it. In the bag. All right. So, what did you think? Why do you think that what did you really, really love about this season
Exactly what I think I didn't get about the season. They leaned into all of the things that I thought were problems in season 1.
Okay.
And they went for it.
Yeah.
Like there was no, like it was 100% commitment.
Yeah.
They just went for every single thing they could. Like Luke's issues with his dad, the heavy themes they deal with,
Yeah.
Mariah being like so over the top,
Yeah.
like by relationships, race
Yeah.
wars, whatever. Everything they went for it, and they landed it in such a ridiculous way that I was just like, I am along for this ride.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like you're on the roller coaster and you're having the time of your life, but also you're kind of terrified, but you're having the time of your life.
But Dinkar, you never joined us on that one roller
On
coaster.
the biggest roller coaster.
Okay, cool. We'll take a short break. We're going to talk about the ending of this season.
I think I want to do a run through of some of the best and worst.
We'll do best and worst.
Which are both the same in a
Yeah, okay, cool.
In
fair
many
enough.
ways.
And let's talk about the ending of the season as well.
Did I just catch you on your way to work? Or did you end up pulling an all-nighter? Let me guess. You have a packed schedule for the day, the week, and probably the month and the year. That's a lot for your mind to handle, don't you think? This buzzing chaos also brings tons of negative thoughts. Am I right? Try spinning that bottle in a positive direction with me, Chetna, on the Positively Unlimited podcast, every Monday on IBM Podcasts. It's time to change your life one alphabet at a time.
Welcome back to the Geek Food Podcast. We are talking Luke Cage, so we're going to run through some of the highlights and lowlights of season 2 for us.
Okay.
So tell me lowlights first.
Lowlights?
Are there lowlights?
There are lowlights. I thought the beginning of this season is a bit like... obviously it's still set up, it's kind of table setting and everything like that, so I'm okay with it. I kind of found the exit of Claire kind of disappointing because I know she's there to serve a purpose, but it almost felt like she was only contracted for like 3 episodes.
It did, yes.
And that's it. And now she said that she doesn't know she wants to continue in all the Netflix shows.
Again, so comic book-like, where they're like, now follow Claire's adventures in Claire number 1.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
It felt
night nurse.
very much like that. And also because I don't think they knew what to do with her. I thought it was a good exit, like a good way to establish something. So they used whatever they could to kind of make the next point of the story.
It's like she would talk to everyone who ever had a casual conversation with Luke and said like, can you tell him to like talk to his dad? Okay,
Exactly.
I'm just bouncing for a bit.
My God, yeah. She made a WhatsApp group like for an intervention.
Yeah.
But so I felt that was kind of a low light for me in some ways. The rest, man, honestly, maybe Tilda. Like I thought Tilda wasn't great.
No.
Because you know what? I really wanted to feel like this is going to be... Man, she's supposed to be Nightshade, okay? So, important character from the comics. I just felt like, she was a bit of a pushover. Like, and I get that she's just trying to do this. But I wish that she was a little smarter about, like, things.
She's an idiot.
Yeah, she was
it's
quite
annoying.
She was quite an idiot. She just felt like a sounding board. Like everyone would just like reflect off of her. Do you know what I mean? Like Bushmaster will say something, she's like,
her character kept morphing, no?
Yeah.
Slightly.
I don't get it. I
didn't really like.
And just to conclude, also just her arc right at the end. So what happens in the last episode is, okay, should we just go in for the spoiler? Okay.
Yeah.
So Mariah bites the bullet because of Tilda. Just an act which is just out of nowhere for me. Okay, I just
they didn't
lead it up to it. I get why, but they didn't. Her emotions on her face did not escalate to that level, you know. And then right at the end, when the will is being read out, right? And suddenly she's so pissed that her mother didn't give anything to her. I'm just like, bro, you were just avoiding her for your whole life, and now you don't. Now suddenly you want Harlem's Paradise? Yeah, I know the club is the G.
And they just had a conversation where Mariah just tells her like, "I don't love you." Never did. And I was like, woof,
man, okay,
what is happening here?
We'll get to that one scene also.
Yeah.
My God. Okay. So I thought Tilda and this whole Claire thing wasn't greatly handled. Everything else, man, honestly, the other thing is, not all the fights were great. But I don't think this show was about the fights.
It wasn't about the fights.
Man, the fights are just incidental.
My favorite moment or the worst moment, again, I don't know what the show is telling me about myself, is when at the end, after Mariah's bitten the bullet, if I remember correctly, Tilda goes to the club and she's just like roaming and she comes across the old Rhodes piano that they have there.
Yes,
she
that
opens
is
it.
Such a weird scene.
She sings a song summarizing the entire show. And I was like,
Yes,
what
oh my
is
God. I tried to
happening?
forget that. I tried to
had
forget
this, like, I mean, that's a stand up and clap moment.
That was really bad. I'm
My
sorry.
mother was a villain.
She does recap. It was like a previously on Luke Cage season
Oh my
2.
God.
Man, that was
What
really bad.
was that?
No, that was, you know what that was like? And I'll tell you the perfect simile to it, okay? Was that scene in Bhavesh Joshi where Papon sings that one song saying, basically, everything is sad, and doing it really nicely and stuff. It was essentially that.
It was basically that.
Unnecessary.
Except she goes into like proper details about like, and then Luke had to talk to his father.
Yeah, my God.
He was very angry.
Oh, wow, that was
what
really
was
bad.
That? Oh my God.
It was really bad.
Amazing.
Oh man.
This is in a show packed with amazing musical interludes. Like they have sections, and I don't blame them at all for this, where they have amazing musical guests performing at Harlem's Paradise, and it's like the camera is tracking one of the villains walking through the club, suddenly just turns and goes like, actually, let's watch this guy sing for 3.5 minutes.
It really is that.
And I was fine with
That's totally cool. And but yeah, you're right. And the other thing, she is not a good singer.
No.
She's not like, and it was just really awkward. It's like, you know, it reminded me of like when you have to do
so many
ad
high
jingles.
notes in her song.
No, but it's also like when you have to do like jingles and they were just like, we have to add 3 adjectives about the product in this one line. So there will be like 18 syllables to be sung in like 3 seconds, and you have to just like fit in words. Like it
sounded
badly,
like that.
It was badly written and it was badly executed. I don't think it had to be vague. If it was a vague song, like ambiguous lyrics, that would have worked. But the fact that it was
she just
so
played
specific,
like an instrumental theme
Or
that
that.
tied into Luke Cage somehow.
yeah.
I
That was bad.
don't get it.
Sorry, I almost forgot that. I almost put that out of
you
my
tried to block
memory.
it out of-
Because the rest of the season is fucking immaculate, man. It's so good.
But so is this. I feel like it's perfectly in key with what the rest of the season does. In key, unlike Tilda's vocals.
Fair
Which
enough.
are fairly
Okay,
off key.
I think that
Again,
is
like
a
over the
mega
top,
low light.
ridiculous. It's like they shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss sometimes, man. You come for the king. Sometimes you miss.
Yeah.
Though you best not.
But also, what was that, man? Like, also from a creative standpoint, like that. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And this is the second last episode. Or the last
It
episode.
was the last episode.
Oh my God.
Because she gets the roads, right? She just gets the roads.
Let's get to the other ridiculously over
moments?
the
Yeah,
top
what-
moment. I want to talk, like, let's get right to the ending. Can you, okay, full spoilers now.
Full spoilers. What
But-
happens in the last episode? Go. Just
So
recap
Luke
it and then
Cage is left Harlem's Paradise, the club, by Mariah Stokes.
And more so,
Dillard.
he decides that the only way to keep Harlem in check, because now there's a vacuum in power since Mariah has passed, that all the other families, including the Carbone family, who's, by the way, she is going to be in Daredevil season 3. She just wrapped.
Really?
Yeah.
I see.
So there's going to be a big crime kind of,
So
struggle.
then Luke Cage better be in season 2 of Daredevil. What?
I hope
that's
that would
gonna
be
amazing.
So there's going to be a power struggle, and the only way Luke Cage, who has been struggling the entire season to kind of keep people in check, the only way he sees fit is that he's going to have to take a central position as a figurehead.
Yeah.
Essentially
become a crime boss. So his struggle throughout the season is, as soon as he stamps out one crime family or another one comes up and starts trying to hone in on Harlem.
Yeah.
So at one point he goes and brokers a deal where he goes like, all right, you guys can do your crime stuff in that area.
Yeah.
You guys can do your crime stuff in that
but
area.
keep it off Harlem.
Exactly. So basically he's it's kind of like Amsterdam in The Wire, where the cops just go like, all right, this area, free for all. You guys sell all the drugs you want. Keep it clean in the rest of the city, in the rest of Baltimore.
Man.
That's kind of what he's setting up.
Dude.
And everyone is just like, Luke, can you handle this? Because it's essentially, he's becoming a villain.
He's becoming a villain, yeah. And like, let's talk about that ending.
He's becoming a godfather.
So
because
there are shots which are exactly like the same shot from Godfather 2.
Literally the last shot is the last shot of the Godfather.
No, even the door closing one, man, on Misty's face.
That's Godfather 1.
That's Godfather 1, right?
At the end, Diane Keaton is
exactly.
Misty.
And she sees the door shut on him, kind of just doing his business.
So,
man,
and
that was
look,
nuts.
it's the exact
That's
same
cool.
theme. I was just like, man, the show has balls.
It has balls. And
just
you know
like
what? I gotta be
quoting
honest.
The Godfather.
It pulled it off for me, man.
Yeah.
Like, it really did. Because of all the shenanigans happening in the season, I was just
I
like,
felt
this is
like it sort of came out of nowhere, though. Where, like, I mean, suddenly everyone just went like, Luke is becoming a villain.
You know what it felt like? It felt like the last episode of House. Did you ever watch House? MD?
MD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I don't think I saw the last episode.
So the entire show is just, House is struggling. And he's got, he's addicted to pills, blah, 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 and he's a bad guy. But the last episode it's like, it literally, they have 40 minutes to conclude the entire 8 seasons. And so they decide like, okay, cool, there's a fire because, of something bad that he's done. He decides to like, whatever. Okay, this is a spoiler for House, I guess.
Okay.
But like, whatever, he gets out of the fire and he
throws away
decides
the
to...
cane and runs.
No, he decides to kind of fake his own death and like basically leave Princeton. Plainsboro.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and he goes on a bike ride with his with Wilson, Jishnu, basically. Doesn't Wilson remind you of Jishnu?
Yeah.
From House? Anyway,
I
it's
guess
a different thing. But yeah, so it felt like this is the last episode, and it was written by Chio Darikoko. So it was like
Of House?
No, not of House.
Oh,
of
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So it felt like the same thing where, okay, cool, we've done all this damage in the last few episodes. Now I need to write a conclusive episode. And I kind of dig that, because you'd always find that the last fight for every, every show, every season of these, like Daredevil, whatever, will happen in the first 15 minutes of the last episode. And then they have to just do the, the conclusion, and, it'll take another third. So that's going to end somewhere there,
Yeah.
But what I really liked about it is that this season did not end with a big fight or a big anything, it was just like a transfer of power.
Yeah.
And that how they orchestrate that happens in the last episode, and I really liked it.
I liked how they ended it.
Yeah.
In fact, it's insane
Yeah,
where they ended it at. I'm just not convinced about how they skipped to it. But again,
I'm good
roller
with
coaster
it.
ride, I'm on board.
I'm good with it, dude. I thought it was great.
It came out of nowhere for sure. Like
No, it
episode
felt-
12, they shut something. Episode 13, they just go like, all right, this is what we're doing now. It felt like Luke's anger arc, where people are just like, Luke's angry. Now they're like, Luke's becoming a villain.
No, it's not that. I just felt like, my only issue with the last episode is that it didn't have to mean that he was a crime boss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that everybody started going like, he's becoming crime boss, I didn't even get that at first.
Yeah.
I was like, what is the problem? Let him
All
run
he's
the
got,
club.
yeah,
and
let him run the club and
let him
do
curate
stuff.
some sick acts.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And let him just kind of... But there was a lot of alluding to, like, a lot of the previous guys, whether it's Cottonmouth or Mariah, where he's standing from he's like, from here I've got a good vantage point and I can see it like a hog,
Yeah.
And so they put in those lines, it was nice, it was a good touch. But I just felt like it doesn't necessarily mean he has to be a villain, right?
Yes.
So, and there's some cool things which, like he's wearing a suit, but it's still yellow in color.
Yeah.
Like few things that maybe show
He
that he's
puts up
still...
the Biggie poster again.
Exactly, that he's still Luke Cage,
Yeah.
So that's why
He's
I
like,
felt it
Biggie,
was...
can't you see?
Well, that's the third of this episode. Anyway, but like I felt like, that was nice, man. It was a smart way they decided to kind of conclude. And it's also super interesting going forward. That's why I really
Yeah,
like
it's
it. I
definitely
think,
going to be... I have no idea what this means for everything going forward.
Yeah.
Because he'll have to play a part in Luke Cage, in Iron Fist, I suppose.
I mean, I hope.
I hope so.
I hope he's... Man, I love Luke. I love Mike Coulter. I think he should be there in every show now. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So we were still talking... What else were we talking about?
The over-the-top
Yes.
highlights and lowlights.
Lowlights. Okay, so what are the other lowlights for you? Did you have any others? And then we'll
Not
go to
I
highlights.
mean, really, all of my lowlights were just highlights like this. I like minor things, like how they insist that Reggie Cathy keeps talking about the Titanic thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just like weird, cheesy,
Yeah,
funny
pop culture references.
Yeah, pop culture references.
God, Game of Thrones has dropped. So
Yeah,
many things.
it's-
Man, there's one line also which is literally a meta joke where he's just, Misty is just like, as far as I go, you gotta follow me and we're gonna do this by my rules.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what makes you think that you ain't my sidekick? And then she walks off and he's like, it's my show,
It's my show, man.
And I was just like, what?
Exactly. This show does not care, man.
It doesn't
it's breaking
care.
all the rules.
I love it.
I love it.
So, okay, cool. Let's move to highlights.
Wait,
Yeah.
my other highlight / lowlight is how Mariah dies. Come on, it's nuts.
Yeah, it is. It is nuts. It is
Like,
nuts.
again, I get it, because at this point, the show has sold you on we will do anything
Yeah.
and you will come along.
Yeah.
Roller coaster ride.
Bizarre, man.
Totally bizarre. And I am
and
on board for
the
it.
way the conversation between Luke and her at the end is even more bizarre. And I
Yeah.
was so sure that everything that Luke has done right now till this moment in the season in regards to Mariah has always been like, the cops are going like, how could you do this? Why are you talking? You're uncontrollable, blah, blah, blah. And here she literally dies in his arms. There's no there's no, what do you call, consequence for that. It's like everyone's cool. Okay, cool. I guess she just
Yeah,
died
yeah.
of poisoning. You have nothing to do with it, Luke Cage.
You were the only person in the room with her. She is dead. You're holding her.
Yo,
cool.
it's fine.
You're Luke Cage, bro.
Yeah,
By the way, you're becoming evil.
You're a villain. You're a crime boss.
Talk to your father, Luke.
Man, okay.
Luke,
I
talk to
do-
your
I-
father.
By the way, yeah, that's so true.
That's a Star Wars
That is so
reference.
funny. Man, you know what? Not the funniest. I thought the season ends, the last few seconds is really cool because they use Reggie Cathy's voiceover and no other diegetic sound at all. They
yeah,
just do
that's
this
amazing.
last shot on Luke, which I thought was cool, man.
Yeah.
And it felt like, okay, coming back to highlights. Some of the best scenes in this season. Conversation between Mariah and Tilda about how she was born.
Yeah.
Oh my
Shocking.
God.
Soap opera.
So yeah, it's a full soap opera, but like I know so Mariah kind of reveals that she was raped by her uncle, and that's how she was done. That's what she says. Every time I look at you, I just see Pete.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't love you. And it's fucking brutal.
And that's been built up since season 1 because that's also why she killed Cottonmouth.
Exactly, right. And I think about that scene and how dark and heavy it is, and there's no like music, nothing, and it doesn't feel like a superhero show anymore, man. It just feels like a really serious like drama,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, wow, this show, if it wants to, can really go dark. Especially there's another scene where she takes revenge on the Stylers by taking out that popular restaurant in Brooklyn, and it's just and it's just like she sets it on fire.
Yeah.
And man, that is
She
brutal.
burns the old uncle alive.
Yeah, Uncle shit, I can't remember his name.
Which is also the point where her gang starts going like, I can't deal with this.
The whole gang is scared of her, man. Shades
Yeah.
is just like, this shit ain't
Shades
right.
is like,
This
yeah.
ain't how gangsters
This ain't
do.
how gangsters do. Mommy.
But yeah, man. Okay.
Right at the start of the season, I think in episode 1, where Mariah's negotiating with Piranha,
Yeah.
and then like Shades kind of just goes over and sits in her lap and they start making it out, and Piranha's
My
like,
God.
dude, what?
And even
I
Piranha,
was
who's like,
he's
usually
the audience
cheerful about
surrogate. I
everything.
know. Even he's like, bro, come on, man. We're
so
doing
weird.
business here. Just be cool.
So weird. So weird.
I love it.
Man, also all the casting for the young versions of the characters like John McIver and all that stuff were spot
They
on.
were pretty spot on, yeah.
They all look like young
Casting in
versions.
general, so like Bushmaster is such a good actor,
So
dude.
good.
What do you say his name was again?
Mustafa Shakir.
Mustafa Shakir.
Dude, if you can just
remember the name.
Remember the name. You guys should check out the interview he does for some web show. Really, really interesting, and he's such a eloquent, like he's a real actor, like awesome guy. So check out that guy. He's doing some work with whom? Ryan Reynolds? I have no idea.
Really?
Some actor. I can't remember. He does his own web show. He's done some short films. Like he directs, he acts. He's just like he's awesome. He's like my new favorite guy.
Nice.
So so check that guy out. But everything else, man, in this season, Iron Fist. That was the best fight sequence in the whole.
That entire Iron Fist episode is great. They
Yeah.
just it's almost like a spin-off episode.
It's like a bottle kind of episode. Yeah,
a bottle pilot for Heroes for Hire. A backdoor pilot. I
Man,
mean.
they should. And he's gone on record to say the creator. He's just like, I wouldn't mind writing that show.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's
Nice.
like, just do it, man.
Luke Cage, Iron
No, I
Fist was
would-
just so chill. Like
I will take
this was a pleasant Danny Rand.
Exactly. But I will take a season 3 of
Which
Luke
reminds
Cage
me,
because
freaking Colleen Wing is such a badass
I
when
love
she's in
her.
this show.
And she's so hot. And
Yeah.
both of them are so cool together. And they're wearing the
That
exact
fight
same clothes
sequence between,
from, so
yeah.
you know what? Instead of another Defender season, they should do a Daughters of the Dragon and Heroes for Hire show.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be Misty and Colleen. And Iron Fist and Luke Cage. That'll be awesome.
Here's one of my favorite things from this show. All the Jamaicans are always kind of angry at Luke Cage because they're like, him think he faster than Usain Bolt. Like, every Jamaican he runs into, and Luke is just like, I never said that. And they're like, you think you faster than Usain Bolt?
And the other thing is that he goes to the Jamaican restaurant in Brooklyn and everyone just like...
Everyone's
just
laughing
takes
at
his
him
case,
like,
man.
this guy?
Yeah,
you,
such
you think you're faster than Lightning Bolt, man?
Oh my god, so funny. Dude,
Oh,
all
ridiculous.
the Yardis, all the stylers in this show, brilliant, man. They're acting, especially his right-hand man also. And he's like, Johnny can take it.
Yeah.
When he gives him the nightshade.
that was another bit of a lowlight for me. It
That
felt
guy.
like, just such a shame the way Bushmaster's arc closed out.
You know-
where he kind of limps back to Jamaica.
But there is one salvaging line where he says, it's awesome. I actually really love that. It's another great line where he's just like, Johnny had reached the top of the mountain. But now, what he's like, he cannot, what he says, he cannot stand the view or something.
What?
Because
He cannot stand the view?
Because he says that, all I've tried to do when he was young, he has to go collect the nightshade, which is at the top of the mountain, and he's just been trying his best to reach the top of the mountain. And now that he's at the top of the mountain, he says, he just can't enjoy the view. That's which I thought was really well written.
Again, I get
awesome.
where he went.
Yeah.
I felt like they skipped a couple of steps to get to it.
Because, there was no conclusion for him, which is why I hope they bring him back,
They better, because he's awesome.
He's too good, man. Even that they have a team-up episode, it's great.
Yeah.
Solid.
What an amazing show.
Man, you guys gotta watch it. I mean, obviously, if you've watched it, you're hearing till this point. That's
I think you gotta love it or hate it, and I think I do both.
Man, I absolutely love it. There's no doubt about it. All right, cool. Let us know what you think about Luke Cage. We're really excited about Iron Fist, so we're going to be doing an episode on that, hopefully. I hope.
Yeah.
And write to us. Contact geekfruit@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media at GeekFruitHQ.
On all them socials.
All them bikini. I've learned so many words.
I know. Oh man, the patois is just amazing.
So good.
Rasklat.
All right, cool. See you later, you nerds.
Yeah. It's IVM here, let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day. Coming on this podcast cause we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily, Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Shunyawan, 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 Shunyawan. $1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.